Imagine being on The Price is Right, but the only thing you won was a blood feud with Drew Carey. Welcome to Sketch My Story. I'm Alfred Cunningham. It wasn't too long ago I was actually a contestant on The Price is Right. Now, what happens is while you're standing in line waiting, the producers come and just talk to everybody. I figure they're just doing this to keep the energy up and keep the vibe going. What really is happening is they're trying to scout who should be on the show. I had no idea. I thought everybody was pre-selected. So I'm loose, talking to the producer. I said something to make him laugh. Something Plinko. I don't know. Whatever I said worked because they let us into the studio, and then to my surprise, I got on. They pronounced my name wrong. Alfred Konnichiwa, come on down! I would like to think that there was actually an Alfred Konnichiwa in the building that day, but he was too polite to rain on my parade because boy was I excited. I stormed that stage like it was our January 6th. I was excited to the point where if you watch this back, the camera had a hard time keeping up with me because I was running around the studio like a maniac. It's important to note that at the time, I was a tax auditor. Like, that's what I did for a living. And I don't know if you know, but everybody hates tax auditors. Everybody. Our job is literally to take money from people. People don't like that. You're never going to watch a superhero movie about a tax auditor. What would his superpower even be? To turn your house into an apartment? To turn your Audi into an Uber? You get it. So anyway, to get on this show, I had to outbid everybody on a year's supply of Reeboks. And I did. I won. I just marked everybody by $1. Yeah, I was that guy that day. I always promised myself I would never be that guy, but I was going to get on The Price is Right by any means necessary. So I won a year's supply of Reeboks, and that's the last thing I won for that entire day. I get up onto the stage and I met Drew Carey for the first time. First thing Drew Carey says to me, Alfred, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a tax auditor. And then Drew Carey looks me dead in my eyes and he goes, well, then I hope you lose. I was shook. This has never happened in the 50-year-old history of Price is Right, by the way. Like, Bob Barker never pulled this shit. But here I am on sacred grounds, only for Drew Carey, of all people, to shit all over the floor. Man, I was heartbroken. The game I played was a version of that yodeler game, you know, with the little guy who climbs up the mountain and you have to tell him when to stop and hope that he lands somewhere near the right price. He didn't. Not for me. In fact, I was like $20,000 off. I wasn't even close. By the way, not making any excuses. When everybody in the studio is screaming at you trying to give you the right answer, it's like trying to read 150 tweets in all caps at the same time, and it doesn't help. By the way, this is a Super Bowl version of The Price is Right. So I lost out on a whole tailgate package. RV trailer, a barbecue set, and the producers just casually moved it off the stage when I didn't win. Just thousands of dollars in price, just moved off the stage like it was just Thursday. But to me, it was like watching my parents take my Christmas presents to the junkyard. Fortunately, I spun the wheel and somehow made it to the showcase show. Unfortunately, that's where I lost out on a brand new car, and you guessed it, a trip to the Super Bowl. The worst part about losing on The Price is Right is right after you lose the Showcase Showdown, they shuffle you off to wait for the producer right next to the exit before everybody leaves the studio. So now not only have they all seen me lose on The Price is Right, now they get to pass me one by one on the way to the exit. So I'm getting all kinds of comments from the peanut gallery. Like, oh man, tough loss. You should have listened to me. I was going like that. You should have listened to me. One guy was like, man, I was kind of hoping you would lose too. It was the worst. Personally, I blame Drew Carey. Who else is there to blame? Eric Dickerson, NFL Hall of Fame running back, was on the show that day, but he was a cool guy. We chopped it up. He mentioned his rushing records a couple times. But Drew Carey was the problem here. He's the one who said, I hope you lose. In fact, my number one goal in show business and stand-up comedy is to only get famous enough to get on CBS television. I'll get on a show like Two Broke Girls, or more accurately, The Neighborhood with Cedric the Entertainer, or 60 Minutes. I don't care. I'm going to get on a show on CBS television, and on my first day on the job, I'm going to go into the CBS parking lot, and I'm going to slash Drew Carey's tires. That's my 5-year plan for stand-up comedy, and then I'll just quit. You'll never see me again. In fact, you'll know it's me because after I slash Drew Carey's tires, I'm going to leave a nice little note that says, looks like you need a brand new car. I'm only kidding. Drew Carey's actually a nice guy. but still kind of fuck him, you know? He should let me win. By the way, all's not lost. Remember, I did win a year's supply of Reeboks, which I then had to pay thousands of dollars in taxes on. Man, I hate tax auditors.
I think Brad Williams' time meeting a famous TV host turned out quite better for him than Alfred's did. Join me to watch that story by tapping here and find more great comedy from Alfred on TikTok, Twitter, and more. Thanks for coming on Sketch My Story, Alfred.